Well, hello, and it's Heaven in 27. Because it's our 27th time we've come to heaven. My goodness, you two look festive today.
That's a dumb podcast name, Jerry.
You know what? Everything I do is dumb, but that's fine.
This deal got off to a stupid start. Thanks, Jerry.
Yes, it did.
Sure. Where'd you learn to talk, Jim?
You went to your announcing school, Jerry.
Let's get this podcast
Really?
party started. Me and Ryan are festive.
And
You
we're
guys
the
are
ones that
festive.
are under the weather.
And we're both sick as shit, so welcome
Yeah,
to
I mean, you sound...
Jerry, I want to welcome you to the COVID terrarium.
Did you
if you
test
get-
negative or positive or neither?
Never.
Never.
I don't think he's at risk because he hasn't caught the awesome from us, so he's not going to catch
Exactly.
the germs.
I didn't know there was that to be caught. Man, you are
If
so
you don't get
Festivus
sick out of
today.
this podcast, it's going to be a
Well,
miracle.
Actually, I'm on the meds.
I'm sick in a different way, more
Superhuman.
mentally than physically.
I was on vacation last night and spent
Last
last week, and I spent half of it at home. I'm in recovery now. I'm feeling better.
Congratulations.
He was
the
sick
summer's over.
all his week off. He was sick.
I was sick, but I'm feeling better now.
Are
I
you?
don't sound very good, but
You don't look
I
good.
look great, but I feel better than I feel as good as I look, and I look fantastic.
Oh, you look like you make a good Santa daddy right now. That's what you look. Nice hat. I mean, I got Santa Pat came, brought me a new coat for Christmas, and then I'm
Sharp.
I know it's exactly. You can if you go to Yuma and race you could qualify to get one of these kind of jackets next year with a modified, or I could dress like my twin brother from
You look
another
like a
mother.
blueberry.
Good Lord, you're a walking billboard.
Jesus Christ.
I wanted to feel what it was like to be Paul Berger. For
Please don't take any more
Yeah,
clothes
fine,
off.
leave it there.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Stop there.
I haven't been
Please.
nauseous for a few days, but
Really?
I got my Darth Vader sweater on.
I find your lack of cheer disturbing.
Yeah. They've even got my Darth Vader picture in the back here. Where's it?
Yeah, where did that thing come from?
It's a new one.
Yeah.
Did a little podcast renovation over the holiday. Put some shelving up back here in the back. You can't see a lot of it, but that's okay. I still think it's cool.
I've got Ryan and Jerry's Christmas card in the background here.
Well, I'm glad you finally got it. Exactly. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool.
You do that quite well.
Yeah.
Go to hell, Jim.
I need TP for my bone.
Chris Burke from Capital Signs actually
Yes.
did that.
Oh, that's who
Darth
did that.
Vader sign for me. Yeah, I think it's the brainchild of Monica Gustin, to be quite honest. I think.
I mean,
that's
was that like a commissioned art piece or something?
Well, Jimmy Gustin sent me a picture of it, and I'm like, hey, where did you get that? And
Who's the guy in it? That's not you.
I
that's
didn't
me.
see the.
That is
I
you.
didn't see the
That's me.
overhead aerial shot of the Super Nationals in your.
There's all kinds of cool things about that, and so
Yeah.
I reached out to Chris. I'm like, can you please print that on a sign for me?
Nate's going to come in and give us a shot of it.
So he did.
I mean, the
I thought
cool
that
thing
was
of it is the
pretty
is the
awesome.
left side of it, where it's like the Darth Vader side.
Yeah, it's my Facebook profile pic too.
Are you actually going to take a camera off a tripod and use it?
If I'm actually your Facebook
Oh my
friend, you'd have seen
goodness.
it.
I did see that.
If I'm not
I'm
your
your
Facebook,
Facebook-
friend,
I didn't
I
see it, though.
apologize if I haven't approved you because I just generally speaking don't approve anybody that I don't know.
I'm
I'll
going
look
with,
at. You ever do that? Go through.
I
your
don't
friends?
approve the ones I do know.
I'll go through
That's a big
I'll go through the. Yeah, see, that's me. That is me. That's the Super Nationals in my sunglasses. I think it's pretty cool. I'm like, how come I didn't think of something that cool?
So you didn't come up with it. That was
Well, no,
No.
of course
That
he
was
couldn't come up
disgusting.
with anything.
It's like the Joker
intelligent
one
like
down
that.
here in the bottom that we had back here forever. The Joker picture down here. You know, I didn't. I think I'm more Darth Vader than I am Joker, to be quite honest.
I think you're the
Some may
love
not
child
agree.
of both.
Some may not agree with that, but I definitely think I'm more Darth Vader than I am.
what do they call that when those serial killers? You walk into their bedroom and they've got the pictures, of all the.
I'm not a
You know,
serial killer.
I've
But
never
what do you
seen
have
Star
that?
Wars.
Why would you have that of yourself?
Jim, what's your favorite Star Wars
Brett has
episode?
his own.
Which? Let's narrow this down.
Jim's favorite story. It is the episode of None.
Yeah. Which episode's your
Correct.
favorite? How about the trilogies?
Correct.
If you had to pick which trilogy, Jim, which would it be?
He would like Star Wars with a country music.
The problem with Star
Country music
Wars,
soundtrack,
it came
wouldn't you?
out when I was a little bit older than you guys, so I had girls.
Yeah. But he did stay at home on Friday nights and watch the Dukes of Hazzard though.
I mean, honestly,
Negative.
if you're in my range,
He was more of a Love Boat kind of guy.
You know,
So
after
why didn't
Coca-Cola last year,
why
thank God I
like
didn't.
it?
What?
Why didn't I like
Dukes of
Star
Hazzard?
Wars?
I don't know why. Well,
I didn't have girls
Yeah.
back in the late
I mean,
70s, mid 70s.
The trilogy I really liked was Porky's 1, 2, and 3.
That was good.
that's good stuff too.
That was good stuff.
That's good stuff too.
Animal House.
That was good.
Animal House was good.
But back to the girls' comment. So, like, anybody who's my age that likes Star Wars, in those first three, apparently, the first Star Wars, the original ones, Princess Leia, when she was chained to Jabba the Hutt in a bikini, I mean, that was a pretty awesome moment
it was.
in my childhood. I don't know how old I was, but I was old enough to know that was Princess Leia in a bikini, or whatever the hell she was in. But I was like, I wanted to be Jabba the Hutt for a while. But anyhow, it's a whole nother subject. That's probably why you didn't.
You wanted to be Jabba the Hutt or Jabba Chamberlain?
Jabba Chamberlain.
Lost me on that one.
Relief pitcher for the New York
Yeah,
Yankees.
he's not a
Oh,
sports guy.
jeez. A baseball reference. I'm not a big baseball fan.
No.
But anyhow. Okay, so what are we going to talk about besides Star Wars?
This is our final podcast of the year.
Of the year.
This is our final one of season 1.
Yeah, season 1. Again, we were kind of talking earlier before we
Have
started.
we been
like,
renewed for season 2 yet?
I think we
Let's
got
hope.
like a.
Let's hope.
Let's hope
We're
they bring
safe.
us back.
We're in contract negotiations.
You know, I think Nate had some stats about this show, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Actually, it's been much more popular than we thought. When did we do the first podcast? Do we actually have a hard date?
February
on that?
10th is what I looked at on IMCA TV.
Yeah, and all I have is we did podcast number 3 is when I actually started trying to keep track of things.
We started to take
A
notes.
Yeah, a couple episodes for
Hey,
us
what
to
are we
get
gonna
serious.
talk about? I don't know.
I guess. Are we going to get serious in any of these podcasts? Let's hope not.
Season
I have
2.
to go
maybe
back
we'll
and
think
rewatch
about
the
it.
first one again.
I
I
had-
see how
No,
awful it
I had
was.
March 9th was for the 3rd episode. That's when I actually started keeping track. So, but anyhow, talked about a lot of fun stuff all year. So this would be like the year in review. How's that sound?
It's our Christmas edition.
Christmas edition. Okay.
Christmas holiday year in review.
We can go with that.
Jim's favorite sandwich of his tours.
Yeah.
With that being said, then the last podcast we did was at the museum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did we talk about that?
Yeah,
Right?
it's been a month. Almost a
Which was
month.
pretty cool. You had some guests on.
We had a lot of guests.
Yep. You had a lot of guests, which was cool.
Some lady
And Bill
racers.
Martin was even on
Bill
there for
Martin. Yeah,
quite a
Bill
while.
Martin was
Right.
on there for a while.
We should have more guests on this show, really, to be quite honest.
We should.
We
Maybe
said that
season
in, I
2.
think, 23
You're
of
the
the
guest.
27 episodes, too.
Yeah, season 2 is the year of the guest.
The year of the guest.
We'll find some. We'll have them call in.
Unless they want to visit Vinton.
Yeah, I mean, you could come sit.
I mean,
and
you
sit.
drive here for some unknown reason.
I had nothing better to do today.
Nobody
I would
wants to
say
live
that's
in
to get
Vinton
sick.
on purpose.
I had to shovel the driveway this morning, though.
Do you want to live here on purpose?
They do have a
Vinton.
Mexican restaurant now.
Do you live in Vinton on purpose?
Do I?
Yeah.
I'm from here, so that's my only. Yeah.
Trapped in Vinton is what I call that.
He's just decided to never move.
Oh, I moved away.
Oh, you did. You
I'll
went to
move.
like Waterloo, or was it Cedar
Well, I
Falls?
stayed in Eastern Iowa, but I moved.
I moved away too for a little while.
Where'd you move to?
out of the county.
Say Cedar Falls.
Oh, that's right. Well, that's because you went to college, ding dong.
Correct. I lived in Independence for a while.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Worldwide traveler.
Ain't I though?
Wow.
Oh well. So point funds. Let's just touch on year end stuff because we talked about a little bit about this last time, but I think we should. I want to touch on some of the other stuff besides point
Hey,
funds.
that's a
And
lot of poker chips we gave out.
it was a lot of poker chips.
Hey, there was some hidden money that was given to people via checks from IMCA TV. They
Yeah.
didn't even know they were getting. And
You
people
do
were
not
like,
even
Thank
have to
you
go
for more money.
You do not even have to meet me at the casino to get it.
Perfect.
Dang it!
Honestly, we mail it right to them.
They didn't have to meet you.
You
at the
mailed it
roulette
right to the
wheel.
casino.
Pardon me.
They didn't have to meet you at the roulette wheel.
Correct. That's the only place
Not
you'll
the
find
craps
me.
table.
The casino. I went. Ironically enough, I can't remember when this was. Again, it was before the banquet. It was before our last podcast. But so I ran and got everybody that's in the
that's
office.
right. Yeah,
all of our jackets, all of our plaques. That takes a shitload of work getting all that stuff here, and we push ourselves to the very 11th hour on everything, trying to get everything. So
there's not much sanity left by the time we're done with that. There wasn't much to begin with.
There isn't. The Friday night before, the Friday night before our banquet, not our banquet Friday, but the week prior.
Yeah.
I ran to Boone because Intensity in Boone does all of our track champion jackets. So I ran to Boone in the evening. I drove. I think I took off. My wife had hit cheer comp with my daughter, so they were out of town. So I'm like, all right, I'll go on Friday night. So I drove to Boone.
You had me confused because I thought maybe this was like a triathlon
on the
story
way
or something.
On the way back, I stopped at the casino because I'm by myself.
No way.
No.
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
Oh.
Did you know that Meskwaki only has live roulette on Friday and Saturday nights? They don't have it.
A lot of the Indian run casinos do that anymore.
No, Monday, Tuesday, which
is during the week because it's slower. They don't have the tables open.
And that really, I would like
That's
to complain because that really disrupted my trips for Super Nationals this year because I stopped a couple times and I'm like, why are these not open? And I finally asked and they said, oh, the roulette wheel is not open.
Do they have the digital or whatever?
They have that one, but I don't play that. I'm too superstitious. So the Friday night and Saturday, so I'm okay, Friday night I'm driving, but hey, I'll stop. It was like 7:30 at night. I'm like, all right, I'll stop. I was supposed to get home early to let the dogs out.
That Friday, yeah, because I was here working
whole
the
nother
entire
story.
time on the other jackets that we had.
Yeah, Ryan was here working. I was at the
yeah,
casino.
yeah.
So I was sitting at the roulette wheel, right? And I wasn't in there probably 3 spins, and in walks Kirk Niehaus and his wife. And
Hey, it was a company outing you guys didn't know about.
I was
None
too
of
busy.
us knew about
they're
it.
like, hey, let's play roulette. And I'm like, okay, fine. Just sit down and have it. You know, they were going to, I think it was Colin Ray. I think it was a Colin Ray concert. It
That
was
sounds familiar.
somebody at Meskwaki that night. So they were there for the concert. But they, we played a little roulette. They left. I lost my ass pretty much the entire time I was there. I got up, walked over to leave, hit the restrooms, and walking back past the roulette wheel, and Nathan Ballard was sitting there. True story. So I'm like, So I stopped. Hey, Nathan, how are you? Good. I'm like, I'm not going to play anymore. I'm going to leave. So I was walking out. I got to the door, and his dad was walking in, and his dad said, hey, did you get the transponder today? And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, he had brought that in when I was
He
here.
had stopped here at the office earlier that day, dropped a transponder off. I said, no.
Because, again, I was in the office all day.
You were working.
So we're just, we were just chatting, and I'm like, I'll go back over and talk to Nathan a little bit more because I don't know, I just figured I'd go over and say hi a little bit more. And it's hard to pry a conversation out of Nathan Ballard. Yeah, I said that, but that's true. So I went back over and I was like, all right, I'll play 3 spins. I kind of have a system, so I was like, all right, so I sat down. I didn't sat down. I stood there, reached over Nathan, put $25 on. Guess what number I paid?
Black 10.
Yeah, and it hit for $875. So I was like, sweet, thanks, Nathan, and Nathan's dad, because I would have never have been there for that had I not stopped and talked to his dad and turned back around and went in there. So everything happens for a reason. But anyhow, that's my roulette story for the Friday before the banquet. I have some more probably after the first of the year because I'm going to Vegas with my wife for New Year's.
Ooh, for New Year's you are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you going to make it to Texas for Christmas? There's a blizzard coming, you probably should get on the road.
We were scheduled to leave, Thursday, I think it was. Ken gets out of school Thursday at
Blizzard's coming Wednesday. I saw her posted on the Book of Face.
So, yes, if you pay attention to my wife's Facebook
I don't think they're
page,
going to have school Thursday.
they're not going to have school.
No.
Ain't nothing going to be open on Thursday. It's going to be so bad around here. So we've accelerated our departure till more than likely to tomorrow. We're going to try to get out here and beat the snow. But, yeah, I don't know.
What happens if there's a cheer contest Wednesday night?
There's practice cheer, and she's not going to make it.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that her cheer coach isn't listening to this podcast.
But you never know.
But Wednesday night, I think
Pretty sure.
stuff might start getting
lot of people
canceled
do.
in anticipation Wednesday
Yeah.
night.
But I have never been to Vegas. Never been to Vegas outside of the races. I've never went.
Are you
any
gonna
other-
They got
go?
races in Vegas?
Are you going to find a
used
racetrack
to.
while you're there?
No.
You gonna talk any contract deals or anything while you're there?
So we're gonna drive to Waco and we're gonna hang out. We're spend the
Big meetings going on.
first time in Waco in 20 years that my wife has spent Christmas with her family on Christmas Day. So she's excited about that, and I'm kind of excited about it too because it means a lot there. So we're gonna do that. So we got to get down there, but then we're gonna fly to Vegas from Dallas for New Year's for 2 days, like 2 days. I think we're going out there.
Do me a favor when you're in Vegas, tell everybody at the track high when you have the meeting.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that.
I think you should load up in an RV and drive
No.
from Vegas.
We did do that. We used to do that. We did that a couple times. Ryan's made that mistake. Have you not?
What?
Didn't you
An
drive to
RV?
Vegas one
I
time?
enjoyed it. I loved it. I would rather do it when I didn't have to be
You
on
didn't
a
want to do it 2
schedule.
years in a row.
No, no, I would love to explore the ghost towns and everything. I would love to do that again without being on a schedule.
Yeah, we used to drive our equipment out to the duel. We did it a couple years, and then it just didn't make sense for us. So
Then it all ended.
then it all ended. Dun,
All good things must come to an end.
dun, 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 dun.
So when are you leaving?
So yeah. So anyhow, how do we get
also
off
a
track
good
so
thing.
much? Point funds. We paid out 600,000+ in track point funds and national point funds this year.
Money.
600,000+, and I think we talked about that in the last podcast.
Did you say over $500,000?
Yeah, it's usually right around 600 grand. You know, and again, when we added the Mod Light division, that kind of pushed it up a little bit because we did track points funds. You know, all the sanctioning fees that are paid for everything goes into the track point funds, including the Mod Light. So it pushed our point funds up a little bit by adding that 9th division that we have as part of our dirt track offerings.
We had
so
a
to
wet
speak.
spring. We don't always have wet springs, it seems anymore, but that does impact it. But
Yeah, like Independence. You know, like Independence, use that as an example of just how bad things can be. I don't know how many races Independence had rain out this year, but it was
I had like 9.
something
lot,
like that. It was
yeah.
a lot.
9 and 4 of them were in April.
And generally speaking, most racetracks figure on about 20% of their
Mm-hmm.
events to get canceled. When you lose half or
Yeah,
more,
that's-
it's troubling.
That's tough.
It is. It's tough on everybody. It's tough on the racers. It's tough on the fans. It's tough on the promoter especially. But anyhow, so yeah, the point funds, again, all that stuff was mailed out. We did do some GM bonus stuff, and I wanted to talk about that. We did the $250 if you want a track championship in a division that allows a crate engine in IMCA in 2022. You got a $250 bonus. We initially had paid out about just shy of $50,000 on those GM bonuses. There's about 200 racers, but then by publishing the story, guess what happens? You know, racers start saying, "Hey, well, what about me?
I
What about me?"
forgot.
I forgot. I didn't.
So we went back and confirmed we had missed some because you have to put it on your application. If you don't put it on your application, we're not going back after the fact. If you're not following the rules to begin with, then you're not going to get the money. So if you don't, it's important to answer that question accurately on the application when you submit your application to IMCA online.
So you're saying that.
So we ended up with
should
about
check the
52.
boxes.
You should check the boxes.
Check the
Rookie.
If you
or-
if you don't check yes, you're not going to get it. If you check no and then change your mind at the end of the year, you're not going to get it. It's just unfortunate. That's the way it is. 52,000. I think it was 52,250 is when we end up paying out on GM money. GM also does billboard program with the racetracks. A lot of racers don't know these things, but GM also pushes $500 to each racetrack on a billboard program if the tracks are participating. So they also push thousands of dollars to racetracks through our GM program. IMCA TV revenue, we did do some IMCA TV, and we didn't talk about that at the last podcast, I don't believe.
A little bit.
We've
I think
talked
we
about.
talked
Yeah,
about it a
we
little bit.
have.
There was about 64,000 in what we call replay revenue that we allocated to the racers. Last year, fortunately for us, we can do a lot of different things. We can. How do I want to say this? We can allocate this how we see fit. And last year, we just did it based on like minutes viewed. So some racetracks got more than other racetracks, and I didn't really like that. Jim and I talked about it this year. We didn't really like that because while it may be fair, so to speak, it's not in another aspect. So what we did this year, we took the money, we pooled it into a big pot, and we evenly distributed. See, last year we didn't issue any checks from IMCA TV to Sport Compact guys or Mod Light guys or Hobby Stock guys. We just picked, I think it was a couple of divisions, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
We didn't do all of them. This year, we wanted anybody that was an IMCA member at an IMCA sanctioned event that was eligible through that replay system to get a check. And so we did the top 3 in all sanctioned divisions at all racetracks. And there was, I don't know how many there was, 40 or so that were eligible, that met the
44
threshold.
tracks were eligible.
Yeah, there's a viewership number, so we do put an algorithm to it through IMCA TV through Chris, but it pays back. It paid $64,000 back to, I think there was about 500 racers that got those checks, and they were mailed out like a week ago.
And the tracks are available at imca.com. There's a story up on the website if you want to see which tracks were eligible.
Correct. All of this stuff is stuff we put in the newsletter, and all this stuff is published. The racetracks that were eligible, we didn't do the driver list because it was like 500.
A lot of names.
502 or something like that. There's quite a few names. But those who were eligible should have got them by now. I've already had a couple guys email me and thank me for those checks. So I know that they are hitting people's households just in time for Christmas.
It's a Christmas bonus.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Miracle.
So again, that's 64,000, and now IMCA TV does the same program for the racetracks. So that's also important. The racers don't care about this stuff, but we do. The racers should care about this stuff. The racetracks also have a fund very similar to that one that pushes money back to the racetracks, to the facilities, for them to use how they see fit, and whether that be to cover their year-end expenses, whether that be to pay for some of their track banquet costs, or whether that
And this is on
Need to
top
go on
of
vacation,
the money
we don't care.
generated from the pay-per-view. This is basically a bonus type money.
This is the replay system. If you all of our events are a pay-per-view. If you want to watch live, you can watch live. If you don't want to watch live,
You can go back tomorrow and watch it.
you can watch it on the replay subscription, which is a monthly subscription. All of the revenue that is generated on the monthly subscriptions this is what we do with it. So you have, and I don't know if racers necessarily know or tracks necessarily care, but they should. People who have these monthly subscriptions, they're generating revenue every month on all this video.
Yep.
Anything that's archived in any of these subscription models is all generating revenue. And where's it going? In some instances that I can think of, it's not going to anybody other than the person who's got the subscription model. So it's not benefiting the racer. It's not benefiting the track. It's not benefiting anybody but the individual that has the subscription model paying them. Ours, we allocate it back to those involved. So again, it's a system that we put in place to try to help racing, to help IMCA racing in particular. And again, if you're racing at one of those racetracks and you're running a super stock or a street stock or a non-sanctioned division, we do appreciate the fact that you're racing at an IMCA sanctioned racetrack, but we don't have any way to push that money to those people, and we're not going to. We're going to push it to the people that are in the IMCA divisions that are in our system. And again, I guess a lot of talking. Membership has its benefits. That's just the way I describe that situation. Membership has its benefits when it comes to all of this stuff. Also, contingency stuff. Again, that's enough on the TV revenue. I talked about it before. A couple of contingency things I wanted to talk about year end. Again, this stuff is important, and I hate to sound repetitive, but companies like Schaefer Specialized Lubricants, they pushed 132 checks for a total of about $7,000 to all of our state champions this year. In lieu of doing product this year, Schaefer, because of still on the tail end of the pandemic and running out of supply issues, they wanted to do cash instead. So Schaefer pushed about $7,000 in cash right to state champions at the end of this year, and we sent all those checks out. Precise Racing did a $500 check to Ken Duke, who's, I believe, our Pennsylvania state champion.
Right, and the Pennsylvania Sprint Series champion also.
Yep. So again, some of these sponsors do things through us directly to the racers. Ken Duke got a very good one, $500 check from Precise Racing products. Quick Performance did 15 checks, $100 each to like our top 5 in national points and like mod stock cars, and I think it was Northern Sport Mods.
I think so. Yeah.
So 15 racers got a $100 check directly. It comes through us, but on the memo it says what it is, and that was from Quick Performance. Yoshimura is another good one. Our Mod Light guys usually get about $5,000 in cash directly to them through Yoshimura.
They get that throughout the year, too.
Throughout the course of the year. Yeah, they select 10 events, and I think it's 10 events, and we give them $500 an event through Yoshimura allocates that through us to Mod Light racers, and that's been a program we've been very appreciative of, and our Mod Light racers, I think, are very appreciative of that. Sunoco does about $12,000 in Sunoco bonus money throughout the course of the year in cash, right, to racers. So these are cash amounts. These aren't contingencies. They aren't product certificates off buying something or anything like that. These are cash amounts that go directly to the racers. So they're very worthwhile to mention. And any of our sponsors who are doing that through us, I can't thank them enough. And I think the racers who get these contingencies are very appreciative of it, as well as they should be. And then one quick thing on products. Sorry, I look like I'm putting you both asleep.
No, you're fine.
Are you awake?
Just another podcast.
Are we getting you sick?
No, I'm watching the replay back here.
Oh,
I'm watching Jim sleep.
we're gonna get to the replay stuff, the actual video. One last thing on contingencies and products. We've mailed out what we have in our possession, product certificate wise, for year-end contingencies. We have had some issues with product itself, with not getting some of it. So we're still trying to push that product out to racers that we haven't got yet. So if you haven't got something that you think you should be getting, it would be best to reach out to us through email, preferably. Email me at broot@imca.com, or you can email Carson on his email. So, but if you email me, I'll get it to Carson one way or the other. That's it on contingencies and point funds and payouts and cash and all kinds of fun stuff. And one last thing, too, the Junior National Championship. Our top 10 in Junior National points every year get a $500 product certificate from IMCA. That's as good as cash. It's a $500, essentially a $500 scholarship off secondary education. So what we do every year is we allocate $5,000 into that Junior National Championship point fund. And use a guy like, let's say, Dallin Murdy, who's, I think, won every year the last 3 years. He's going to be eligible. He's going to get $500 a year in those certificates if he chooses to go to a secondary college somewhere. As soon as he signs up and proves that he's in college, he's just got to redeem those certificates through us, and we'll send him a check for $500 for every certificate for his post-secondary education. That's what we're doing. I mean, there's lots of cool things that you could do for the young racers, but to me that was one that I think was really important to us. People think we should push people into racing. I don't necessarily agree with that personally, because pushing people into doing something they don't want to do necessarily doesn't end well. Those who choose to race are the people that I think end up racing without us pushing them. Yeah, we get rewarded from that because they're race car drivers.
Plus, they get a little money to help pay their college with. They
Sure.
go out and they get a job. They
Yep.
make money, and they continue to be able to have money to go racing with.
Correct. And they enjoy racing. I don't think you should push your you probably all know people that push their kids to do stuff they seem like their kids don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm. I see it most Tuesdays and Fridays, sometimes Saturdays and Mondays.
Yeah. Yeah. So
What do you do?
Well,
Tuesday and Friday and Saturday.
varsity doubleheaders. There are kids that cannot do things, and they should not do them.
And they don't want to do even
It's
if
like parents
even if they
living
can't.
vicariously.
You can always tell that the kids that do something that they don't want to do it,
Yeah.
because it's their parents' dream.
A lot of kids live a
It's
lot of
their-
parents live vicariously
through their children.
because
Look at
they
that.
never.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, watching the replay behind us, you look at a kid like Colin Hibden, his dad lives vicariously through him with all the great racing he does. Leland's like, man, look at there's my kid.
Yeah, Leland
But
was
he
not
wants-
near that good a racer.
No, but Colin wants to race. But then you've got kids that, I don't care if it's riding horses, with your daughter, there's some girls that don't want to dance and cheer, but their moms are like, this is what I did. You
got
gotta
crazy cheer
do
moms.
it. There's crazy.
That TV show is real.
I don't know if you know this or
believe
not,
that.
but we kicked a couple crazy parents out of a couple games so far this year, and it's fun.
You've been officiating a lot of games.
Yeah, I think I got about 10 nights in so far.
I just can't picture you running up and down a basketball
Jim
court.
did the same thing. You can see there. You guys have something in common.
You don't officiate now, do you, Jim?
No, I'm retired.
He used to though.
Yeah, I know you.
A lot.
yeah.
And
What's
Jerry
that?
does it. Officiate games.
But
Jimmy's-
what sport?
What about Grant? Is he still doing
Nah,
it?
Grant doesn't. No, see, Grant and I reffed quite a bit together back in the day.
I did football.
Yeah. We're still racing at that time.
You do basketball. You just do basketball.
I just do
right?
basketball, yeah.
Did you ever do football?
Nope.
Do parents ever call you names?
I got called Poindexter the other night. And that guy kindly got asked to leave the freaking gym.
Why? He was correct.
Oh, my
Well, I know he was correct, but at some point in time, Well,
You know,
I was
that's kind of
okay
a
with the
compliment.
Poindexter, but then when he told me to get some new glasses, I was like, dude, I can see through these fine. Apparently, you're going to see yourself out
I'm sure
that
you
door.
can see
He
through
nailed
your
it.
glasses just fine. It's just the fact you have your head up your ass.
That guy should have got a Parent of the Year award. Not
Oh, he
kicked out.
probably did.
He nailed it.
So good.
Jerry's got rabbit ears out there. Little thin-skinned.
No, but it was the same guy both games.
Oh boy.
And
When's the
finally,
next game, Jerry? I might have to make a trip.
Why would anybody want to be an official?
Tonight,
I
I've
don't
got one.
understand. I
Well,
really
tonight
don't
being
get it.
Tuesday. Now, to be honest with you, I've done it for about 20 years, and I'm really. After the last 2 or 3 nights on the court, we actually, the crew I work with, we talked about it. Why do we continue to do this and
You
put
know,
up with this?
I reading social media with the NFL lately has just been awful. People are talking about how officiating has gotten worse. It has not gotten worse.
The people that
people
don't
have got
do,
worse.
yeah, people
the
have gotten
Replay's
the
gotten
technology has gotten better to watch it over and over again and to go through.
Super slow motion.
People that blame officials for everything.
You watch
I have
some of
no
those
time for
replays, and the officials, when they get it right, you just go, "How in the world did he actually?"
Or if
call
they
that
can,
right?
or if they can spot a ball when you're 10 yards down and you get,
It is-
it's amazing to me
it
how
is
good they are.
What's amazing though is last night it was my fault.
Well, I'm sure you suck, but we're talking
Yeah.
about good officials.
Yeah.
But it was my fault that the
Disclaimer.
home team lost to the other team by 62 points. That was
And that
my
was-
fault.
and that was
that was the
officiating.
officiating's fault. You know, it would have, but the outcome would have been different.
Those are life lessons, is what we call those.
Yes,
correct.
Those kids are going to learn a lot from that. That's going to make a mark on them for the rest of their life. But that may form in a good way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we all have those moments, right? I mean, when I was a kid, and I think I told this before, that
Before you were wrecking race cars.
before I was wrecking race cars, this is a true story, and this traumatized me. I still to this day tell this story. So I played baseball. Played a little bit of baseball, like junior baseball. I wasn't very good at baseball. You put the ball on the ground, I can hit the thing 100 miles. But you throw it at me, and I can't hit that thing for shit.
So T-ball was more your speed.
T-ball was, as soon as I got out of
So
T-ball.
you're telling me if we had a T-ball league here, you'd be like the
as
star.
soon as I got a T-ball, I was in trouble.
That's a moving target. I can't do that.
So
Shit, that thing's gonna hit me.
we were sponsored by Hawkeye Racing News. My team was, well, ironically enough, right?
Oh.
At the time. So I was on this AAU team, whatever you call it. You know, it wasn't really sport.
Traveling. You were on a
Yeah.
traveling team.
It's just locally, right? And we were playing Center Point, right? Center Point came to the game, and they had 8 players. How many people you need for baseball?
9.
Is it 9? Right?
9 is ideal.
They had 8.
Yeah.
True story. So guess who got picked to play for the other team?
You had to go play for the other team?
Yes.
What?
Was that
Correct.
the game Vinton won?
That was Vinton's choice.
Yeah.
I
home
had to
field
play for
choice.
the other team.
We need to take the root, kid. Get him over there. In the words of Wade, now you guys are going to be rooted now.
That scarred me for life because I was like, well, wait a second. Why do I have to play for the other team?
So you were probably always the last one picked.
I
too,
played
but
right field for the other team, and by the end of the game, they had me move to left. Can they do that? I remember this.
Yeah,
can
you
move
could.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
can
can change
You can-
positions.
So I felt like I accomplished something, playing for another team, and they
Probably a
moved me
lot
from-
of left-handed hitters hitting
Yeah, I
the
was
right
gonna say,
field.
yeah.
Is probably what
No.
the deal was.
Thanks, Ryan. You just ruined my story. No, they moved me to left because that's where everybody was hitting it. They wanted me out there.
Or maybe they
The
wanted you for target practice.
The game ended, and I remember the kid that hit it. I ain't gonna say anybody's names. I grew up with them all.
Oh,
the,
now
the
I want to
kid
know.
that-
I'll know this person.
The kid, you would know. You will know him. The kid hit it over my head, and if I'd have caught that,
You were short. Everything went over your head back in
no, I was. Hey, I wasn't bad at sports. You know what I mean? But I
But
was
you weren't
little.
good. I mean,
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. But he hit the ball over my head, and I almost caught it. If I'd have caught it, the other team would have won the game. But instead,
Oh,
the
so you're
team I
saying
was-
you let him win?
no.
So you're saying that you got traded to the
it's those moments, where like this is something you're gonna remember for the
So
rest of
you
your life.
helped the other team by.
And
You
I
helped your
barely-
team
if-
win by playing for the opposition.
Yeah, if I'd have caught
Let
it.
me ask a
If
question.
I'd have caught it, Did
Did you bet on Vinton?
if I
Pete Rose.
Mr.
here.
Rose? Did you
Yeah.
bet
Pete
on
Rose.
Vinton?
Hey.
No, he
Pete
should
Rose-
not. He
Pete
should not,
Rose
Jared.
always bet to win. He never bet to lose.
and he should be in the Hall of Fame.
No, he
Thank
shouldn't.
you.
No,
You
Absolutely.
and Pokey.
no, he should.
Absolutely, especially with what Major League Baseball has done since then.
Doesn't matter.
They,
Times change.
they give their rosters to the casinos before the games now.
Times change, though.
yeah.
That doesn't mean it was
Exactly.
acceptable
So if
back
times
So put
changed,
the-
then Pete
put
Rose
the-
should be in the Hall of Fame
put the
because we
guys
should
in
be
the
able to
times
forgive
change,
him.
He
times
has more hits than anybody in the history of the game. He should
And
be
he
in
got
the
caught
game.
betting, so he got caught betting.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Period. End of
I
story.
disagree.
I have a Pete Rose signed jersey. Says HO. When you get them signed,
HOF.
they says HOF question mark on my jersey. He should be in the Hall of Fame. They might put him in there when he's dead.
That's the only way
I
he
don't
would
think
go.
they'll
is
do
when
it.
he's-
Only if they get a new
Posthumously.
commissioner.
Well, he'll be dead someday too. Maybe we'll all still be alive.
Yeah, but how many commissioners have there been? It was Giamatti that started it
Yeah.
all, wasn't it? That was back in the 80s.
Yeah,
He had 3 or 4
exactly.
As soon as
commissioners.
baseball changed their position on betting on the game, Pete Rose should have been put in the Hall of Fame. He should still be put in the Hall of Fame as a player. As a coach, maybe not so much.
But as a player,
But as a
you
player,
put him in as a player because he didn't bet as a player. He bet as a coach.
Stats. You can't argue his stats.
And he bet as a coach to win. I mean, it's not like he bet to lose and then fix the game to make the money.
We're getting off the rails here, but it's the truth, in my opinion. It's no different than the whole argument this year with Aaron Judge being the American League home run record setter and not counting 2 or 3 years of home runs that are hit by, who was it, Barry Bonds, Sosa, and McGuire because of steroids. I can't believe people would even say that. I think that's crazy
that
talk.
they don't count him or that they should count him?
You can't just erase it. You can't
Right.
just say, well, this stuff didn't happen. It happened. And if it happened,
For whatever reason it happened.
you can't say the Judge is now the greatest hitter of all time. I just don't agree with that.
I don't
I'm
think
nothing to do
people
with-
are saying that, are they? The greatest hitter of all
Well,
time?
Home run hitter had the best home run hitting season
The
of all
American
time.
League. In the American League.
They were saying that in the American League, but I don't agree. Maybe that's because I can't hit a baseball worth of shit.
Sounds like you can't catch him very well either.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I realized at a
I
young
was
age I
skilled
could
enough
not
to
play
move.
any. I couldn't play sports and I couldn't drive a race car, so I just had to figure out something else to do.
the one frickin' thing you can
Have
do
you
is
figured it
talk,
out yet,
and you
though,
just
Jerry?
don't stop doing that. Oh, hey.
What'd you
are
say, Jim?
Sorry, you're still in the room, Jerry.
Jerry, have you figured it out yet?
What?
What you can do?
Nope.
Yeah.
I can do nothing.
we're all still trying to figure that out.
I am
You do a
perfect
lot
at-
of things,
Hey,
but can
I
you do
am
anything well?
I am perfect at nothing. That's why
Master of
I'm a jack of
Nobody's
all
What's in your
trades.
Yeti?
Jack of all trades,
Master of
master of
none.
none.
What's in your Yeti?
Yeah, what is in your Yeti?
coffee.
Because you have a
NyQuil?
Coke over there that has not been opened, so I'm
I was
thinking.
gonna grab a water, but I didn't have.
And you
one,
have
so
it.
I just
I
grabbed
I do
Coke.
appreciate you bringing the hand sanitizer in.
That's for your own safety.
You need lathered up, Jerry.
Well, are you going to?
No,
I thought Christmas was coming early, kids.
not that.
Dreamed of
talk
this
about Pete
moment
Rose
for
some more.
years. Dreamed of this moment for years, and as always, you shut me down.
PRI has come and gone. We actually got into trade show mode a little bit for a week. We did attend.
Jim called me from PRI. He was disappointed that I wasn't there.
It was a good show. It was a good show.
It's always good.
Disappointed that you weren't there.
Yeah,
I don't know anybody that was disappointed.
He
that
said
you
5
weren't there.
people stopped and asked about
That
me.
was a
Like
lie.
in the
Jerry.
first 45 minutes.
Exactly.
I was in our booth for much of the 8 hours a day,
Nate,
and
Nate
not
heard
one
he can
person came
verify
to the
it.
booth and said, "Where's Jerry?"
Yeah, I know. See, Jim always has to tell stories.
It does.
I'm like, yep, thanks. Click.
So you did have people asking
We
about
could-
you? I haven't heard this story, so.
Jim called Jerry and told him that they had people asking for him. at
So
the
I haven't
booth.
been here for 5. I haven't even been here, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
That was a
okay.
lie.
And I went, click. I'm like, go to work.
It was funny, but it's
like,
not
whatever,
true, Jerry.
Jim.
Next year,
Then I get
next year,
a
so you
text
can
from Grant.
you can through PRI schedule autograph sessions and
You
make them
can?
public in our booth.
Well, how has Jim never done one?
So this is what we're gonna do next year.
Okay,
I'm
I'm
gonna put you in as a special guest to sign autographs in our booth. For
No way.
for an hour a day.
You have a full year to know how to
And-
spell your name.
And
I just
Jer-
write squiggles.
And become
Jer-
famous.
And Jerry's
Become
not even going to show up, and we're going to see how many people actually came. Come because we announced it. That's mean.
The first person who comes looking for Jerry will win a prize package.
Yeah.
Ooh, what is the prize package?
Earplugs.
Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat.
Oh, Rice-A-Roni is good, though.
Earplugs.
Jerry wins the earplugs or everybody else wins the
No, they win the earplugs.
You drive 2 hours for this. 2 hours. Nobody's nice to you. Over
Somebody
here.
has to make them feel good about themselves.
Well, I've
so.
been kind of a dick to you too today, so I apologize.
But no,
I'm glad in episode 27, I'm the one that gets made fun of and not everybody else, but that's okay.
like the
I'll
first
be the one.
26.
maybe season 2 will change it up a little bit, and we'll all just honor Jerry every
Highly doubt
podcast.
that.
Oh.
You know what I'm excited for? It's Christmas.
Do you have big Christmas plans?
No, I don't, but I love Christmas.
There's going to be snow in Iowa.
There's snow now, technically.
Be a lot more.
Not very
Yeah.
much.
I mean, there's 2 or 3 inches, but I mean,
At least here.
You have more drifts in the
Iowa
ditch
and
here.
Nebraska.
It just like literally the last 2 days that happened because there hasn't
Yeah,
been
there
able,
hasn't been measurable snow here at all.
been able to see the
I
grass.
I talked to Jeremy Keller yesterday from up in Mandan, and I did tell him we were expecting probably a ½ inch of snow here in Omaha. That would give us almost 2 inches on total for the year, and that's about what they got so far up in Mandan.
Yeah, in the last
Minus
hour.
minus about 58 inches.
I've seen some pictures from Minot. Holy cow. They've got, I think they got about 25 inches of snow already up there.
Oof.
And it was like 14 below.
My
For a
friends up
high
in Fargo,
yesterday.
and every time I get
That borderline's
Snapchats
on
and pictures
torture
from
now.
them, it's just snow and wind and crappy roads.
Wonder what it's doing in Estevan right now. I know what it's going to do in July in Estevan.
We're going to have races.
Yeah.
Races.
The border's back open, so you can go to Canada.
Canada.
On
Hey.
the tour.
The Beefeater.
Beefeater.
You ever stayed at the Beefeater?
No, I've never been to Canada.
Yes.
Well, I've been to
It's a
Canada,
hotel.
but just not there.
The Beefeater's the hotel. At least it was when I was.
Yeah, last
Stay.
time I was in.
Yeah.
We can go where it's
But
warm in about 3 weeks, though.
Yeah.
Sunny and 75 every
We're going
day.
to get to that Kokopah and all that fun stuff. Rules real quick. Nate, can you throw up that tire picture, would you, real quick for me?
Oh, there's a picture of a tire?
Yeah, because this is a question that we're going to get for our late model racers. That's our new. That is the NLMT Hoosier
Is that the National Late Model
National
Touring
Late
Tire or
Model
whatever?
Tour tire. That's the tread. Excuse me.
Can I
We've announced this in the rules, and we've said that you can cut the X, cut the cross.
the
is, I
check
think,
part,
what we-
the square?
Yeah, if you look at that specific tire tread, there's you got the big blocks. Within each block, there it's broken into 4 little squares. That is the cross. The little X in the big tread block is the X that they can cut. So that's the tire our late model racers are going to have available for next year. Hoosier's no longer making the WRS2, the D55 stuff that we've mandated for the last handful of years. So that's the one we're transitioning to. We're going to give them plenty of time to burn off the D55s, but we are on the NLMT3 compound. There's 4 compounds of that tire, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going with the 3. We think the 3 is the best fit for our race cars, for what they're making for power and what tracks they're racing at. That stuff really does matter. We haven't allowed a 4, which some are probably more than likely going to give the option of the 4. But our position
Certain
is,
races.
certain races, certain sanctions. So consistently, that's the tire that's going to be used in the Midwest, where most of our late model sanctions are at. So we think it's going to be a good fit. We think that's a very good tire. It's a very good compound for our application. And we're not going to give at this time. We don't have a published burn off date for the D55 stuff right now. As of now,
But you'll give plenty of advance
if
notice,
if
correct?
we decided to put a date in there, we would. But at this point in time, we don't think we need to, since they're not making it anymore. The races will eventually.
When they're done, they're done.
Yeah, exactly. But
don't
you
have
can't
any-
do anything. You can't cut the D55 stuff. You can sipe it and grind it, sand it, so to speak.
But you can't.
You can't sipe it. Like that tire, you can only groove in the X. You cannot straight line sipe that. You can't aggressively grind it either. That's the new tire rule that we've got. So if they grind that with those gold discs or the nails and chew it up really bad, you're going to get disqualified. You can only cut the X in that new LMT and LMT tire. No straight line siping either on that tire. So I think it's going to be a good rule. I think our racers are going to like that tire. I actually think it's a better tire than what we've had available to us. It's just my personal opinion. We'll find out. And I'm sure if I'm wrong, somebody will tell me more than once. So for our late model racers, that's an important thing to know. Also, one other thing on rules, really put that stock car picture up. That's a pretty important one too, Nate. This is a rule that if we've got lots of questions on. That is a correctly mounted upper control arm on an IMCA stock car. The A-frame is mounted inside of the jack bolt. That's a pretty good picture. You can see the seam of the frame itself on the bottom of the picture. You can see the factory weld, so to speak, or the factory seam. The jack bolt has to be in that, and it is, as you can see where it's placed, and the A-frame is mounted behind the jack bolt. We started to see the jack bolts disappear, and in doing so, then they started moving the mounts out a bunch. That's just not a direction we're going to go with stock car racing. We don't think we need to have, positive, whatever the heck it is, 3 camber on the left side of a IMCA stock car. It's just crazy. When we designed that upper A-frame mount, the intent was, or the upper A-frame itself, the intent was to have a left and a right and have those designed to build the caster and camber into it. And in doing so, when the racer mounts that on their race car, it is also an inspection process for us. So people look at the decal and they look at it as this IMC only did this to make money. That's not how we did it. We did it because it tells us where the A-frame is supposed to sit. If the right A-frame is on the car, we generally know where the mount is supposed to be. That's pretty important in hobby stock racing where they can't move the mount, even though guys were cutting the mounts off and sliding them out. So if a guy puts a left and a right A-frame on a hobby stock where the mount can't be moved and it looks funky, we suspect he's moved the mount. That's the whole intention behind that. We wanted to give our stock car and hobby stock racers a purpose-built upper A-frame that's tough, that's better than the OEM one. And so that was some of the idea behind all of it. And so we built the rules around this stuff. And then when they take the jack bolts out of a stock car and then start moving the mounts way outboard on those things, it just kind of blows that all to shit. And we don't want that to happen. So that is the way that your stock car A-frame should be mounted. I think that's the left front. Whoops. Yeah, that's the left front. I think there's a steering box there.
Yeah, that's the left front.
And people ask us, well, how do we know where that's supposed to be? Well, one of our good indications, what Dave tells people, and I do it myself, is look at the left and look at the right. Are they in the same spot? They're generally speaking going to be in the same spot on the left and the right side of the car. If one of them has been moved substantially, it doesn't look like the other, as far as where the jack bolt's supposed to be. But people are saying that rule's changed. That's not a rule change, in our opinion. That's the way our rules have always been. And when the industry kind of migrated, or certain chassis builders migrated to removing the jack bolt, putting spacers under there, and then being able to move that upper A-frame out. We tried to address it last year, and I don't think we effectively did that. It was still a little bit confusing. So this year we're a little bit more specific. But that's an important rule for stock car racing.
It's a point of emphasis.
Yep. Late model tires and stock car upper A-frame mounts are really the only thing that I can think of rule-wise that most of those divisions have to deal with. Transponder location, we've talked about that, I think, didn't we?
We touched on it, I think.
We touched on it.
We're trying to find a common transponder location in all of IMCA racing, and we went with the majority of the tracks are where they're putting them in those divisions, because we have some sport compact guys that want to know why they have to put them in the back of the car.
Oh, that sport compact is the hardest place because there's so much electronics up front, and some places it's got to be on the firewall, and some go on the right rear, on the back, and
we went with the right rear on the back because I think that's where most of our tracks were putting them. Some were putting them up on the bumper, which to me is not where I would want to put a transponder rental on the bumper of a sport compact.
No.
Putting it in peril there would be like putting Jerry up there.
Yeah.
He knocked off the car. But anyhow, some were putting the compacts, they were cutting a hole in the floorboard so the transponder can see the ground. And it's like, why do we have to go through? It's not a bad idea. None of those locations are necessarily bad. We're just trying to find a common one. So we'll have to run before we walk on an issue like that. I'm sure there's going to be some issues where that stuff is going to be an issue at a racetrack, but we'll work with it. We're just trying to find...
Who's that?
My wife.
Is it time to go yet?
Want me to answer?
We got to get on the road. Answer it. Yes, speaker, now.
Hello? Hello.
What are you doing?
I'm at the podcast. What are you doing?
Oh, okay. I was gonna.
Do you want to be on the podcast?
No, unless you want me to say something inappropriate.
I dare ya.
You're on
I
speaker.
dare ya.
Great. So you want me to roast Jerry now or later?
No,
Boy, she knows her role even from home.
Oh.
It's the theme of our podcast.
No,
Jerry.
yeah, it's the last one of the year. It's a season wrap-up,
Do you
Virginia.
want to wish everybody Merry Christmas and Happy New Year?
Sure, as long as they're in a warm spot.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Oh, boy, here it
Migrating to
comes.
the weather.
Oh, why do you
What?
set the table?
Okay, I needed nothing important, so just call me when you're done.
All right. Bye. I love you.
I love you.
I'm surprised she didn't say anything nasty.
I'm really surprised she didn't either. That was kind of calm. Get out the pit. Get to work. Get your stuff done.
I
We
think
gotta
I'm
go.
starting to
See,
shake.
The longer you were going to go before you told her that she was on the podcast, would have been the longer your drive would be.
Well,
down
it
to
was
Waco.
it was
No,
it was
the less-
on the podcast, and then when she said, "Well, is this where I roast Jerry now?" She was like, "Whew, "Good, I'm not getting my ass chewed on this phone call."
The longer she went, the less likely this podcast gets aired.
You might actually have to edit one, Nate.
No editing on these.
Oh, shoot. Oh, well.
As is.
So that's enough about rules. We don't need to talk about it anymore. What else? What else do you guys want to talk about? How long have we been talking for? Or I have
About an hour, hadn't it?
What was like the
45
favorite?
minutes or
Hey,
so.
that long already?
no, it's been less than an hour.
Yeah,
It was like 10:30.
What was that
10:40.
one gift you wanted for Christmas that you never got? We all had that one present as a
Is that a
kid.
question we're all supposed to answer?
No, I just addressing it with you now.
Depends on what year, when it was.
So
There's one gift you're thinking.
there was like a gift you had as a
So
kid,
you're
like,
bitter
yeah.
and jaded about something that happened 40
As a
years
child.
ago, and you
No,
want to know.
I'm just you
As
always,
a child,
it's a
I always wanted a go-kart. I never got a go-kart. Never. Being around racing a lot, as much as I was, that was hard. When I got older, and I always wanted a go-kart. Never got one. That's okay. Had a mini bike, but that's not the same.
Yeah, it's got two wheels.
And you?
You had to have something in mind when you brought up the question.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to see what everybody else wanted.
BB gun? You're going to shoot your eye out.
No, I got BB guns.
There were
We
probably
had a go kart.
I got the wrist rocket. I had a BB gun and a wrist rocket. Wrist rockets are the best. Especially if you can go around the railroad tracks in
what's
Wisconsin.
a wrist rocket?
It's the
It's a
slingshot.
slingshot.
Oh,
shot.
okay.
Locked
yeah,
on
yeah,
your
yeah.
arm. And
Yeah,
so you can really
it came up to here, and you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Instead of trying
I
to,
do remember that.
you rocket on there. Pow.
Mine was a.
You could shoot some
stab.
shit.
The little
You could break some
BBs.
windows with that sucker. Not that I ever did.
Ryan, what's your all-time favorite Christmas gift?
Ooh, all-time favorite? I honestly don't know. I mean, man, that would require thought, and I have no idea.
Brett, what's yours?
All-time
All-time
favorite
favorite.
Christmas? It's funny because my parents were back for the weekend. My parents celebrated their 60th anniversary on December 15th. First off, I want to tell them happy anniversary. That was like last Thursday. They flew back on their anniversary. My dad hates the weather here. Hates it with a passion. He
That's an
came back
understatement.
because we couldn't all go down to Florida. It's just they came back up. We're here for like 3 days. They came back for the anniversary. I want to wish them happy 60th anniversary. Love them to death. And they came back for Christmas too. We had a Christmas party.
God, your mother's a saint.
To put up with my father for that long, that ain't no joke.
Oh God, I wish I could have had a recording of him getting off that plane in the cold.
I knew it was coming when I picked him up.
Goddamn weather. What are I doing here?
He came back without a coat. True.
Holy cow!
I'm
Well,
like,
I
Dad,
didn't
you
need
don't
one
have a
down
coat?
there.
He's like, no, you got a coat I can borrow? I'm like, yeah. He flew back without a coat. He probably didn't even own one in Florida. They live in Orlando and have for...
Well, it's cold down there now, isn't it?
Yeah, but cold there is
40s?
not. Yeah, but it's not like it is here. You know, they've lived down there. They're Florida residents now.
They've adjusted to it.
Since
They've adjusted to
2015.
40 degrees in January.
My parents have been snowbirds since 1999. My dad graduated, or
Graduated.
My dad,
Retired.
my dad retired from the county. He worked for the county. A lot of people think, "Oh, my dad worked for IMCA." My dad never worked at IMCA.
Did you like
worked
do
for
the road?
county.
Did he run a road grader?
He was
or-
on the road crew. He was a surveyor. My dad would tell you he's walked every gravel road and every road in this entire county, in Benton County here in Iowa. And he had, he was on all of the road maintenance. The surveyor, he wasn't running the equipment.
No, he would like if there was something, if they were building a new road or adding gravel or
Yes.
the crown was
All
he'd
that
go
stuff.
out and put the whole thing out there.
He was in the drafting room, in the surveying room. That's where he worked. But he was out. Somebody had to make sure they were doing it.
Where's that? That building's not even close to the one you tried. No, that was a DOT shed you tried to build, burn down with your fire.
That's right back here. That's the building he was in, right on the backside of IMCA's property.
Oh, so you tried to
can
burn
see
the
it from
county
it.
shed down for it? I thought that was a DOT shed.
It's
That was across the way where the
not
fire went out of
DOT.
control.
I don't know if it's
County.
It's the
okay.
county shed. Most people around
County
here call it the
shed.
county shed. Yeah, my dad worked at the county shed. But yeah, he hated cold weather.
Did he hit cold weather back then too?
I don't know. I mean, I just think he kind of it gets worse the older you get.
You are right.
I agree
For
with
some
that.
reason,
does.
I don't know. But anyhow, I don't know where we're going with that.
So, no, I thought Jim asked you what your favorite Christmas
Your
gift.
all-time favorite Christmas.
I'm still
present
trying to think.
And then you went to the anniversary, and then we went to talking
Because I got
about.
to think about my parents. My dad hasn't been back here for. They came back for Navy's birth in August, but they don't come back much anymore. If I want to see my parents, my dad in particular, I have to go see him. He struggled with his health stuff, so it's hard for me not to talk about that. The older you get, the more you appreciate your parents.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very true.
What my number one gift for I don't know. I mean, I had this is how I characterize my parents. I had a super mom. My mom, she worked at IMCA. She worked for Carpac for, since the mid 70s, full time. She bought the place. She had dedicated her career to this place. I had a super mom because I come home from school when I was in grade school. My mom was still making goulash in the evenings and still making lasagna and still making all the casseroles and the stuff she did. My mom always made dinner. And, like Virginia and I, we both have hectic schedules now, and my wife has a very good job. And we're like, how the hell do you balance all this? How do people have 3 kids? I have 2 daughters, but they're 12 years apart, So I don't know how people have 3 or 4 kids these days, full-time jobs, 2 parents working, and make all that work. I mean, my parents did that, and so I had a super mom, and especially when the fact she's put up with my dad for 60 years. That's challenging.
Sister.
That's a full-time job itself. But anyhow, so I don't know. I mean, my parents were always good to me. People think I was spoiled, but I think I was far from spoiled. Far from spoiled.
Because you have good parents doesn't make it bad.
Correct.
That doesn't make it.
Correct. There's a lot of people that come from, obviously one of my daughters has come from a co-parenting situation, where the parents split up, so we all have different childhoods. We all have different experiences. But,
I just remember,
my mom did the Christmas gift stuff down at the bank too, as a volunteer. She did the tree where you go into the bank and you pull the names off of the kids and you buy them gifts and donate it.
Oh yeah.
My mom headed that up for years at the bank downtown. So just for
I remember my dad used to.
she's just a good person.
We'd go to the bank, and at the Radcliffe Bank, it was, you could buy a gift or make a gift. And I remember he used to make these wooden semis.
Yeah.
And give them to, you took them to the bank and they got to give them away. And that's the one thing I look back, you look back growing up as a kid and it's like, oh man, Christmas was awesome. Then you're like, you didn't realize, maybe at the time, this was great. But then you look back at it, man, my parents worked their tails. Like you said, both my parents worked in a factory. You didn't realize how bad you had it off because, they never let you see it. But Christmas coming, it was, that
We didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
We didn't have.
Rode your bike to town 7 miles one way.
There's so many things that have changed from my childhood to my kids' childhood, and you look at how your parents bring you up, and you just go, "Good Lord, how'd they do it?"
Right. I think that's one reason. I can't think of my favorite all-time Christmas gift because, you appreciate everything when you're a kid. Everything's cool. Everything's great for different reasons. But looking back on it, it was the experience. It was the fact that you have these fond memories. I mean, that's the most important thing to me now because that's not going to last forever.
Yep.
I mean, it changes through the years. You lose one parent, you lose a sibling, people move away. You know, the thought of Christmas and the holidays takes on a different look as you get older, and I think it gives you a greater appreciation for what you had when you were younger.
For sure. For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my parents coming back for this last weekend meant a ton to me, Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's easy to take things for granted. It's easy to get caught up in the shit that's said on Facebook, on social media, and even participate in some of it. But at the end of the day,
No.
yeah.
You
You
participate in that?
participate in that stuff?
I haven't said anything.
You have been pretty quiet here lately.
I've been trying to
Quiet on social media?
Yeah, he hasn't.
Well, I hadn't even seen his post of his new picture on Facebook, so I haven't.
Oh, that one? No, I saw
I
that.
never even saw that.
Yeah,
It just popped up. You didn't put. You just put. A new profile pic. How it.
I'm gonna
tells
switch
you.
it
The
back.
algorithm must be siphoning Brett out of my.
We got our we got our Christmas cards pictures taken a week ago, and
Is that what that was?
Yeah, that could be
That's
fine.
it
I'm
was
okay with
that
that. Virginia wouldn't go for that, but I'm gonna probably change my profile pic to one of my family again.
There you go. And I had to.
I like to show 'em
First
off.
of all, I did.
It's like, how
see
the hell
for-
did this happen?
So I did. So I did see the Christmas pictures, and I had to take a double check. I actually, this is no kidding. I had to look at who the guy in the picture was, because he had like a full head of hair, no hat, cleaned up.
Oh, him?
You.
Am I? I have hair on my head. I don't wear.
But
a
it
hat
was like
because I'm
no
bald.
hat. Well, I know, but it was like.
You're always seen in a hat.
Yeah, I looked at the picture, and I was like,
I didn't even comb my hair today.
I'm like,
on that.
who's that guy there?
Can you cover up the face?
I need a haircut.
Yeah.
Bad.
There you
I
go.
was gonna get a haircut, but he's busy. So I'm going to Vegas with a messy hair.
You can get a haircut out there. Probably get a happy ending too.
Ooh.
I'm not touching
Although I've
that
never
one.
had
of
a,
good Christmas
I've never had a,
Yeah, speaking of good Christmas presents.
although I've never had a happy ending in a
obvious
barber
one.
shop. I mean,
I mean, exactly. That's why it depends on what time of your life or what's your best Christmas present ever. It really depends on
that might
really
making
depends
new
on the
memories.
moment.
If I just get to
What else we got going on?
Oh, we're gonna go to Christmas, then we're gonna celebrate New Year's, and then we're gonna go to Kokopah.
Well, right back to racing.
Celebrate Kokopah.
Yeah,
January 3rd, practice.
race the 4th through the 14th.
And our office is going to close down here. We're going to probably close, I would bet, tomorrow afternoon, probably around 4 p.m. Central Time
That's
on
what
Wednesday.
the sign on the door said when I walked in.
No, it probably said Friday. We initially were going to be closed on Friday for the holidays, but there's going to be a blizzard here on Thursday.
Snowmageddon.
So we'll probably be closed the 22nd through the 2nd of January.
Do you think if you were driving in a blizzard in Vinton that you could get pulled over for 11 or 9 over and get a ticket?
Why did this happen?
Well, I mean, there was snow on the ground when it happened.
Oh,
You got a ticket in
Was
Benton?
I didn't.
this is a year old, Jerry.
I'm just curious if it could happen.
I got a ticket a year ago,
Oh.
but it wasn't snowing.
Got you for 9 over. Thought you said it was 11.
No, the other way. He said he
Yeah.
got me for 11 after he told me it was.
I'm not trying to
9.
make this difficult.
Why are you bringing this back up?
That's funny. Hey, they're just doing their job.
present to you.
Don't speed, you won't get tickets. That's the way I look at it.
To say I look forward to seeing you today would be the most inaccurate statement.
Okay, so Kokopah, 452 cars pre-entered, 100,
lot.
100 and
know.
some
That's a
odd
lot.
mods and 100 and some odd sport mods and like 80 stock cars, and
Yeah.
it's enough for a
Shit
race.
ton.
We've been
It's a shit
texting.
I'd have to run a B.
It's a shit ton.
Yeah, it might have to have a B main.
Yeah, the issue always, I mean, that's impressive, 452 cars pre-entered. The issue, it's also kind of scary.
Over a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's spread out over 10 days or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So we're hoping, honestly, I'm hoping that 452 cars aren't there on each day, because that's problematic. And it's cool, but
Yes, it will be.
it's problematic from a format standpoint and from just too many races,
You're gonna
too
be out
much
there, aren't you?
racing. So it's a good problem to have. But I think Brad and everybody down at Kokopah is getting ready, and obviously Jim's going to be down there and Dave's going to be down there. I might go down there. I haven't scheduled anything yet. But
Jerry's announcing if that's.
do you want to go down there?
to Kokopah?
Yeah.
No, Jerry's going to be there. I'm going to have a lot of work to do after the
You
first.
say
of
no,
the-
Jerry's going to be there. Is that why
Actually,
you don't wanna go?
I'll hang out with you the week after Kokopah. With any luck, you'll have lost your voice. It's a lot of talking, even for you.
That's,
be okay.
It's going to be some good racing. I'm
will
really
be.
anticipating a duel at Kokopah in the desert at Kokopah.
There's going to be a lot of cars.
Should be a great show.
Great show, lots of cars, and the weather will be for the
Sunny and
Southwest. It's going to
75.
be nice. It's a Joe Nichols song, I think. I think it's who sings that song, Joe Nichols, right?
What is it?
Sunny and 75, something like that. He has a song. Yeah.
There is
Jim
no,
probably
there is
don't know
no,
that
but
song.
there is no oceanfront property down there.
It's Joe Nichols, I think. No, there's not.
No.
But
Saying that that wasn't Mickey Gilly.
it's going to
No,
be
that was,
a good Winter Nationals.
George
Glenn
Strait.
Campbell. George.
Abilene Speedway.
Icebreaker.
The icebreaker.
Icebreaker.
We've added some money to the purses. I think mods are racing for like $1,200 to win each night at Abilene. Stock cars like a grand, and I think sport mods the same. So we've added some money to the icebreaker in Abilene, which is always right around my birthday. I don't know the exact dates, but it's usually around February
17th and 18th.
Yep. It's always right around my birthday, which is the 20th of February. So we have Abilene in Texas. Then we have the Clash on the coast. Right.
Oh, yes, we're going to Florida.
Down in Florida, up on the Panhandle. The Peyton Taylor's putting that program together, and we've got some information on that in the newsletter that's coming out. Newsletter goes to print tomorrow.
There's already been an email sent out to all the modified drivers about that.
Yep. And then we have the Spring Nationals in Beatrice. You know, those are the ones like I'm in my head.
Stampede in southern Oklahoma.
Yep. So in the next 3 months or so, which is historically has been our off seasons, not our off seasons. We have lots of big races
Jerry,
coming up that people should be planning
message
for.
from Nikki Webb: you're not welcome there this year because you've been mean to her.
You're the one that was smacking on her on episode 26, not me.
I was sticking up for Nikki. Everybody heard it.
Yeah. Oh, hey, just so you know,
I got a phone call from her, by the way. Brett, you heard that when she was calling to complain about how for the at the banquet.
What?
How she was kind of snookered into being on the podcast without knowing.
Oh,
but that was Matthew Day.
That was all Matthew Day and Jim Stannard.
And Jim, yeah.
We had nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
we could do it again. We could call Nikki and get her on. I don't know.
Hey, just so you know, it's very ironic that your birthday is on a Monday, February 20th, and it's President's Day.
Yeah. What a coincidence.
What a coincidence. Holy cow.
Wow. Fate.
Did Nikki really
How long
call
we
and yell at
Yeah,
us?
Nikki called me. She didn't yell.
Nate,
at
how
me.
long have we been going? Oh, we're past. We're 5 minutes past.
Jesus.
We didn't even get to the year in review. Did we? Really? I thought we were going to
Did we
talk
talk
about
about
race.
anything other than
Driver of the
childhood?
year.
Driver of the year,
Well,
race of the year.
Race of the year. You have a favorite this year? One that stands out?
I don't know.
When you watch as many as we watch, it's like
That's the problem. I probably have to go back and get the replay pass.
there's been some
and
really
see
there's been
which
some
ones.
really good ones. There's been some really good ones. Things that you remember. You know the.
I mean, speaking of Southern Oklahoma, there was it was the the Thursday night of the Stampede, the 1/1000th of a finish between Blake Clark and I can't think of it, but I mean it was right at the line. That was a great one to start the year off with.
Lots of finishes like that. It seems there's been a lot of
know.
close finishes at big races this year.
I'll document those this year so we have something to talk about at the end of the year.
We should
can put a top
actually
10.
have a race of the year, and that's
should.
why I've got it in my little schedule. Race of the year, I still think it would be cool for us to, through IMCA TV footage, to crown a race of the year. And, we'd have to get a little bit organized because it's hard to go back and watch all of them after the fact. It's just ones we have to mentally.
Just make note of them as they
We
happen.
can narrow it. We can narrow it down and then let the fans vote on what they
on it.
thought.
Correct. We can narrow it down.
We could have like our top
20 or
top
15
5,
or
and then
10
you
or-
vote on those 5 to
Yeah.
be the race of the year.
Yeah, which would be cool. We
Yep.
give an award.
Nate, you've got time till the
Driver
end
of
of the
the
year.
year.
I mean, it's not like you have to get ready to go to Arizona for 10 days
Tomorrow.
of racing.
We crowned 9 national champions, but I really do think that a driver of the year in IMCA would be pretty cool. One that would.
What would you
be-
base that off of, though?
Well, if you pooled all of our champions together, if you just look at Super Nationals, like Dumpert won Super Nationals and the national championship. Rafferty did the same.
Would it have to be a national
Loaf
champion?
did
though?
the same.
Loaf, yeah, so
said
there.
his name right. Ha.
Very good.
Loaf did the same. So
Then
we
you
had a
got
lot of repeat.
Murdy, who did that, and then the junior.
Well, look at guys that didn't win either. Look at a Tom Berry who
Yeah.
swept
Right.
the Dakota Tour and he won Super Nationals.
Or a
and
kid
Tom
like Colin
Berry,
Hibdon
his
that-
winning percentage was out of this world.
Yeah, I don't know how you would pick a driver of the year, but if you did this year, I think it would be hard to argue that Tom Berry isn't that guy in IMCA. I mean, he won the Clash, he won all the Dakota Tour races, he ran the anniversary race here.
Yeah.
There's a good picture.
He won the anniversary race in Vinton. He won the Super Nationals. I mean, he won.
Marquee
Yeah, he
event,
won those
was
marquee
there.
events.
Yep.
Correct.
That's got to be one of my favorite pictures.
That Byron is good with a
Pretty
camera.
good. The only thing I don't like about that is the crowd's a little weak. I'm going to say the obvious. The crowd's a little weak, but man, that Saturday rain at Boone
Just yeah.
Yeah.
it was the one thing the whole 8 days of racing that we had that
Did Tom Berry win the Harris
negative.
Clash?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he did. Yeah, his winning percentage. He won at Marshalltown too a couple times. Didn't
He had about 2 or 3 feature ones over
Hell,
there.
he went one year. He won every race, and I think it was here in town. Was that last year?
There was the year he won the national title. He only lost like 2 features at Marshalltown.
Yeah, and I think he
That
won
year.
every race in Vinton that
Yeah.
year. Some weird thing. He's got his stuff going fast. People are like, you got to be cheating. Well, we've tested his tires and they passed. We tested his tires
his
at the
box away.
He won the Bald Tire Nationals at Vinton in the stock car. I don't know if he's racing Wallums.
No, he's racing the old Dilly Bar Special.
He won the Bald Tire Nationals and passed the tire test. I mean, what else are we supposed to do? People say, "Oh, his crate's cheated."
Some
I
people
bet if
are.
you took
Some
his
people
Buy it
are
out of his
just
car
good.
at the Super Nationals.
I bet
Some
if you
people are
took
just
his
good.
birthday away, he'd probably not win.
Yeah,
That's probably what you got to do.
yeah, he had a good year. Track of the year. Jim don't like it when I say that.
We like all of our.
164 of them.
We have a lot of racetracks that we deal with, and there's a lot of racetracks that I think deserve way more credit than they get. I think every promoter probably doesn't get near the credit that they should. And I've said this repeatedly.
Most.
Yeah.
Repeatedly, you go back to the pandemic when it started and racetracks are just shutting down, and racers say, all the tracks need us. They do. Well, what happens when the racers have no place to take their cars? That was clearly demonstrated during the pandemic. It showed the value that the racetrack has to the competitors. But then you also have the current situation where we're dealing with all kinds of crazy inflationary issues that are just running through the economy, from gas prices all year this year, which were record highs, that are pulling on racers spending money to be able to go to the races. Then you have product issues, and then you have inflation on how much that stuff costs. And now you have service inflation is the latest that they're saying is hitting everybody. Just everything is getting more and more expensive. So it's a hard time to be a racer too, So I think, and that's why our programs, that's why they push money to racers and they push money to facilities. We don't tell the racer what he has to do with his money. We don't tell the racetrack promoter what they do with the money that we push to them through the replay situation. But we like to think that they're using it in ways that are in the best interest of the sport. Maybe not. Maybe they're buying Christmas gifts for their kids, which is also a good thing to do with it. So, we're all in it together. I'd like to think we're a little
Correct.
I like to think we're a little part of that.
Well, we
Somewhere somebody needs us.
have to work together. If you
Somewhere.
don't, it just all goes
Somebody.
away.
Yeah, exactly. So it would be nice to have a race of the year, a driver of the year, a track of the year, but at the end of the day, probably everybody deserves credit for that.
They're all good races. They're all good racers. They're all good tracks.
Yeah, I mean,
Everybody in their own way is something of the year.
Contributing to.
Every year I am credited as Idiot of the Year, and
Well, you wear it well.
yes.
you got a Tom Berry that's won almost everything he raced at this year, and then you have guys that have raced this year. I would guarantee that there's people that have raced this year and never won a heat race, and never won a feature, never won a B main, never won anything. Those racers have to, matter as well, you know, in the grand scheme of things. I was one of those racers one year. I think the first year I raced, I didn't win a thing. That's can be depressing if you're extremely competitive. And I like to think anybody that's racing is a competitive individual.
You have to.
You have to
Yeah,
have
it can
some
be
taxing on
somebody
your desire to-
somebody in the team, the dad, the mom, somebody is competitive that's pushing that stuff happening, in all sports. What else?
We'll work on that for next year. Race of the year.
We'll have a whole year to
Announcer
work on
of the year. How about announcer of the year?
Ryan Clark.
There you go, Jerry.
Ryan Clark.
I don't announce very much.
You guys might make the list.
I don't announce like you do.
But you
I
aren't
only
the
announce
list.
Yeah, but see, we would
20,
be like
30 races a year, maybe 20.
I think we would have to go be like the team of the. I don't know. We'd be like third or fourth worst or something.
Well, anything else? Jim, you don't want to make fun of anybody, do you?
No, it's the new gym. I don't do that kind of stuff anymore.
Not celebrating an alternative Christmas or anything like that this year?
Well, you know
Alternative
what?
New Year.
You know
what
what?
would
I
an
really do
alternative
want to.
Christmas be? Would it be kind of like Christmas where you give people presents that aren't the same?
Correct. It would be like you're
And instead of
copying
Santa
somebody's
showing up,
Christmas.
somebody else shows up. They're kind of
You would
dressed like Santa.
you
and
would
they're pretending to
copy
be Santa.
everything somebody else does, and that's what you call an alternative Christmas.
Oh.
We made
Ryan's
sure
like,
you-
I'm not talking about this.
I'm ignoring it.
I don't like alternative. I like just Christmas. It's New Year's.
Correct. All the
And
rest.
New Year's, remember, New Year's is like this amateur nights. Oh,
It's
be
like-
safe. Stay home.
we have
It's
to-
easier. It's
all
easier
have
to fall down your own stairs than it is the stairs of a bar and go to jail.
I know this because
That's
I've
a rather profound statement.
It's very
Or
true.
something. I don't know if it's profound.
This is how I would sum up alternative IMCA rules. It's like alternative Santa Clauses, right? So we all we all have kids. Ryan doesn't, but we all have kids. We've taken them to the mall or wherever to see Santa Claus,
Somebody's
right? And when you show up, we all say the same thing. Don't tell me you have never thought this if you've had kids and taken them to you all show up and you're like, what's Santa look like? Does Santa look like the real Santa, or does Santa look
Good
like
Santa,
bad
bad Santa?
Santa?
Well, don't you
Right.
say, though, this is one of Santa's helpers? Isn't that what parents say? I don't know.
I mean, there are Santas that look real. They
Oh,
have
yeah.
real.
Right.
There are well, Santa's real. just
But if they
record.
don't
But
look
they have-
like him, do you just say this is one of Santa's helpers?
It's
Can you
like-
play it off?
Well, for years we
I
took
just like to say Santa's having a bad day.
Kennedy to the same place for
Santa's
Santa.
stoned
Yeah,
today.
exactly. Bad Santa. Santa Kennedy to the same place to get their pictures with Santa, and it was the same Santa. But Santa's getting older, and Santa's going to have to suffer the same fate as everybody else as they get old.
Santa
and
went
then
on
they
a
switch
bender
Santa,
last
and
night.
it's like, oh, that's not the same Santa anymore. And to me, it's like alternative Santa versus real Santa. You have bad Santas and good Santas. I like to think we're the good Santa of racing.
Correct. All the alternative ones are trying to copy what the real Santa looks like,
Right.
and that's us.
Would that make us elves?
I don't know.
Well,
Kind
that
of.
makes us the best.
No, I mean, if
Kinda.
like you're like the Santa, then we would be like your elves or something. I'm gonna be the reindeer.
Okay.
Can we just pull you around?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Go with that.
Rudolph.
Wait.
Well, we'll wrap it up. We wanna
Yeah,
wish
You know
everybody.
what? I
Shitter is
just,
full.
you know what? It's kind of funny. You read comments about our podcast on Facebook and stuff like that. I think we were talking about that the other day, Brett. And you know what? I really got to give a big thanks to everybody who hates IMCA because they seem like they're our most loyal listeners we have. So it makes me feel good that we could do something to brighten their desperate, shitty lives. So thank you guys.
I was going to send some Christmas
I think
cards. out
new
this year,
Jim's a lot like old Jim.
but- Correct.
Well, it's not the end of the year yet,
Jim
so
is
I
just
still got a
Jim.
few more weeks.
All right. So now that we're there, New Year's resolutions. Do you have them? Do you believe in them, or is it just something you say to make yourself feel better?
I've always thought that if there is something about your life that you need to change, why do you have to wait until the calendar changes to do it? Why
Yeah.
wait? And there's always the opportunity and the chance to improve on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I
take,
know I'm
take
fat. I
advantage
don't need
of it.
Christmas to tell me that I'm fat and I need to lose weight. You know what I mean? New Year's or
Hey,
whatever
you're
it is.
fat. Lose weight.
I know.
That's what I told myself one day, and I dumped 40
You
pounds.
know, I kind of look at that like I do our rules. They're perfect, so why change them?
So you don't have any New Year's resolutions because you're perfect. Why change yourself? Wow.
Wow.
Is that where you were going with that?
No, I mean, that's apparently where Jim was going with it, not me. I just thought, you always hear what's your New Year's resolution this year?
Do you have any of those?
Yeah, mine is going to be the same one it is, just to be the same person that I am.
Why change?
Yeah.
Well, you can change to improve. But you
yeah,
don't
I
need to
mean,
make any major overhaul.
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to have to
Just
be
be a
like,
nice person. You're the only person I'm really mean to. I apologize.
I'm just going to work on being a nicer person, less abrasive,
Fail.
more kinder and gentler Jim for 2023. And for those of you who don't,
thank
believe
goodness,
it,
thank goodness that,
check out the green screen.
yeah, I mean, 2023 for Jim is going to last like 2.8 seconds. So
Merry Christmas from Jim.
He'll be like one of those people that takes out a
like
gym
his Christmas
membership and he's
card.
done by like noon on January
yeah,
1. Yep,
I got
not
my
going to
gym.
the
Yeah, I got my gym membership
He
here.
went and take his
JIM.
went and take his selfie at the gym, and that was the only time he went to the gym.
Regardless of the resolutions or any of that stuff, I want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that fun stuff. It's going to be awesome on the 3rd. We're going to have 400 and some odd cars in Yuma, Arizona for the Winter Nationals.
Can't wait.
Winter is coming, which I still think
And you
is
know,
one of
I
the
think we've got some
race promos in history.
Mm-hmm. Winter is
racers who don't normally race IMCA coming down there.
Pardon me, Jim?
One of the Labanis, I believe, Jerry.
Bobby Labonte will be there.
Matt
Kenny
Crafton.
Wallace, Matt Crafton will be there.
Yep.
Kenny Schrader. I think that's
Schrader races a lot of IMCA, though. I think he was in
Yeah.
the top 20 in national points this year.
He might have been.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll have those guys will be there. Plus, you'll have I know a lot of guys from Midwest. You know, there's I think probably a dozen or so from Canada. They're heading that way.
There is an entry list on IMC.
Yeah, if you go out
it's
there.
been posted.
Yep.
Nice
and
little press release.
That'll
We'll see,
change.
That'll
Even over
change.
the next week or two. So.
Well, but all seriousness, I do hope everybody has a great holiday season. And you know, I think we all can say this. We appreciate everybody for everything they do for racing, for their passion.
With the guy.
Yeah, with the guy in
With
the.
the grease.
We can't take
Can you put our Christmas cake? Can you put our Ryan? There we go. At least.
Please put Ryan and Jerry up behind you.
Yeah, pretty cool. Merry Christmas. Yeah, happy New Year. Yeah.
So until
You
next
Beavis
year.
or Butthead?
Until next year.
I'm Beavis.
Thank you for everybody who listens to us talk about ourselves.
Yeah, what?
You're welcome.
Yeah,
You're very welcome.
You're welcome.
Season 1 is done. Season
I'm
2
gonna run out
coming right around
I'm
the
gonna
corner.
run out of stuff to talk about next year.
No, you're not.
doubt.
I have faith that you will have something to talk about. It'll be a while before we get one of these
Yeah.
again. Oh, maybe we could do episode 1. Could be everybody in Arizona. Nate will
Ryan
be
ain't going.
I've got
Nate will be there.
contract stuff. I'll be busy.
Ryan ain't going.
I'll be very busy right after the first of the year.
Oh, come on! You can bring your computer and work from.
Nate's the most important guy in all of this equation.
Yeah,
Nate's not
If it wasn't
here.
for
We have
if it wasn't
podcast
for like
problems.
Nate
Let's do
Ober.
one New Year's Eve so Brett can do it live from Vegas.
Yeah.
You can zoom in on that.
No, I'm gonna
After
save
the
it for the
meeting, of
race.
course.
I'm gonna save it for the race I'm going to in Vegas next year. I am going to race in Vegas next year.
You all
Oh,
right?
we can't let the cat out of the bag. No.
In November.
Don't let the cat out of the bag.
Formula One.
That's called a teaser.
Formula One.
Oh, that's right. That is. Yeah, I'd like to go to that too. That'd be pretty kick-ass.
You
For
can
sure.
announce it, Jerry.
The F1 race. No, I just want to sit and watch it. Them cars
sure.
are crazy stupid. Guys think they spend money on race cars now. Go get one of those. Holy cow.
Alrighty, let's wrap it up.
All right, season
Happy
1,
holidays.
episode 27 done. Season 2 coming sometime in January. We're not sure when. We'll figure it out.
Until
Yeah,
then.
yeah, it's probably going to be in February. We're probably going to take the month of January off because Nate will be in Arizona for the month of January.
Until next year.
Till next year, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, having great holidays. We thank you for all your support of IMCA Racing. Don't forget that replay pass. You know, you've always got those that time during the holidays you want to not be around your relatives. Watch some racing.
Makes a
on
perfect Christmas gift.
It does. There you go. It's a stocking stuffer. On that note, enjoy the holidays. See you after the New Year's.